Hello everyone. As some customer asked me about how to use callback. So in this video I will go a little deeper into the code of my project. And firstly, let's have a look at the structure. There are parser mode here. So this is a PEG parser. It is used to parse your game script. Besides, there is some importers. This is used for import the text. So normally you don't need to modify it. And for the same reason, normally you don't need to modify the parser. There is the demo file folder. This is the UI part of the dialog system. You can use the UI here, and you can also use your own UI and replace these UI elements with your own UI system. Besides the UI part and the parser, there are two files, Dialogo plugin and Dialogo trigger. These are the two you may modify or extend according to your requirements. The Dialogo plugin is a manager to manage the whole workflow, and the Dialogo trigger is attached to the NPC to trigger the dialogue. Firstly, let's have a look at the Dialogo plugin. In the Dialogo plugin, you can see that it contains a dialogue parser. The parser comes from here, and it will parse your game scripts. Besides, there is a dialogue game. The dialogue game is the result of the parser. So after the parser parses your game script, it will form a dialogue game, and the dialogue game includes all the information in your game script. So you can get anything in your script from the dialogue game. Besides, there is also a list of dialogue triggers. So actually the dialogue plugin is an observer mode, and the dialogue plugin will send message to the dialogue triggers. And you need to, this is the reason why you need to register your triggers, which is introduced in my another video. And the dialogue plugin is also a secret, so there is a state variable here. Okay, now let's go to the callback. I already provided two callbacks here. And the callback update dialog is the most useful callback, and it is called when the dialog is updated. For example, when you come nearby to an NPC and trigger a dialog, this function will be called. There are three parameters here. These parameters are retrieved from your game script, and it will deliver it to you. And you can use them to do whatever you want. There is an instance. In the UI dialog box, you can see there are three objects, avatar, name, and message. These three objects are corresponding to these three elements. So this means that the dialog box is an instance of how to use a callback. It will register the callback and get the three parameters and show them to the UI. And for the same reason, the scroll wheel is also an instance of how to use the callback. And for the same reason, the other two is also. But some of them may not use callback since it's very simple. It's just call function of dialog plugin. Now let's have a look how the callback is called. So you can see that the callback is here. Since I'm recording, I can't use Ctrl+C. So let's have a search where the update dialog callback is called. You can see that the update dialog callback is called in the show message function. So let's have a look where the show message function is called. The show message function is called in the dialog trigger. Here is where the showMessage function is called. You can see that it's called in a state condition. Actually, this is a state machine. According to the dialog state, it's called different logics. And this state machine is called in update dialog function, where update dialog function is called in trigger dialog event. I have introduced the trigger dialog event in another video. And if you go to your NPC, you can see that you will call the trigger dialog event in your trigger events. So this means the dialog is triggered by you. If you want to trigger the dialog, you need to call this function trigger dialog event. And in the trigger dialog event, it will call the state machine function. And in the state machine function, it will call the callback you register. You can see that you register callback here, right? Message callback. So this is another callback, but it follows the same reason. And you can do anything in your callback. Okay. So this is the workflow. First, you trigger the dialog event, and in the trigger dialog event, it will call the state machine. And in the state machine, it will call your callback function. And you can register your callback function in the start function. Okay. So this is the instance, and there are some other kind of callbacks, but they are all follow the same principle. So you can create your own callback function. And you can also add your own function, and you can use the callbacks I have provided, and you can refer to how the callback is called and used, and according to this, write your own callback. I hope this clarifies how the callback is used a little bit. And if you have any other question, please make a comment. Thank you for this video.